Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we're going to have a look at a friend's Tamiya Aeromax. This one's a bit special though, as it's had a super swish airbrushed paint job. The base is black with a Medusa theme. The detail in the artwork is extremely good. There's a subtle image on the bonnet, but the art on the roof box is just something else. Also, there's a very subtle pattern that looks a bit like snake scales on the cab, but they're just about impossible to pick up on camera. While the paint was done by a pro, I was tasked with the assembly, which of course I couldn't just keep simple. The wheels were provided by my friend. They're all metal and use many very tiny screws. They do look the part though, especially with the aftermarket tyres. For the electronics, the truck's running a Tamiya MFC, but like the Wrecker, it needed to work with a wheel radio, so there's some extra electronics that deal with all the controls. Behind the cab we have a large light-up Ford plaque and a pair of huge exhaust stacks, which brings us to the special feature of the truck. In that gap that's usually empty on an Aeromax, there's a smoke generator from ADRC. It's a small aluminium box with a fan on the top. It's tricky to see it in there, but that's kind of the point. As well as the smoke unit, it also comes with some electronics that let you control the smoke based on throttle, control it with an aux channel, set the amount of smoke, and generally set it up for any particular install. On this truck, it's set up so we can control it based on throttle, or we can run it at max for maximum effect, and just like the MFC, it's looked after by my electronics. Right, enough of that, let's power it up. We're using a 6-channel radio link radio with some clever firmware in the truck so we can use most of the functions. When we power the truck up, the MFC starts up and the fan in the smoker revs up, then the truck settles down to a nice idle. For the controls, the right hand 3-position switch just changes the gear on the 3-speed gearbox, so pretty much just what you might expect. The left 3-position though is a bit different. When it's all the way to the right, the small thumb button toggles the LEDs in the Ford plaque on and off. And when the switch is in the left position, the button steps through the MFC light modes. And the large button just under it does the horn, which of course is always very important. When the switch is in the middle position, then we can control the smoker. But first, the knob on the transmitter that normally controls the gyro gain, if the receiver has one, is set up to cycle the colour of the LEDs in the exhaust stacks, which makes for quite a nice effect in a dark room. The small button now turns the throttle linked smoke on and off. So with it on, as we apply the throttle, the smoke gradually builds up. Now I've got the Scania manual there as well, as with the white background it is a bit difficult to see the smoke at low throttle. The real fun though happens when we hold the button down. It puts the smoker in max output mode while the button's held. You can really produce a lot of fog very quickly. If we change the camera angle and turn the lights down, you can really see the effect. Unfortunately, the balance isn't quite right yet between the fan and the heat. Also, the smoker leaks a bit, so we get a fair amount of smoke coming out from under the chassis. All the same though, it's a lot of fun to play with. As is typical at the moment, this project has been on hold for a little while. There's still a few more features to add, such as the servo-controlled coupler, and also it needs to be able to talk to the trailer to control the trailer lights and the legs. And speaking of the trailer, it's fully airbrushed too. But I can't show everything in this video. At some point we'll need to do a proper reveal when it's all properly up and running. Needless to say though, it's a bit special when it's all set up. Right, that's going to be it for this week. My house now smells a lot like a mobile disco, which is nice I guess. I hope you have a good Christmas, whether you celebrate, have the day off, earn some overtime, or whatever it is you do. So, as always then, thanks for watching, like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if there's something on your mind. Bye guys!